It is time for the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, to stand down or be forced to undergo an urgent investigation into the complete and utter shower he is presiding over. If he really is a Christian, it would be the right, moral and virtuous thing to do, for the reasons I'm about to outline. Today it has emerged that despite Welby pushing a green agenda, the Church of England has been investing in water companies responsible for pumping sewage into our rivers, and they are refusing to stop investing in them. The Church said that it held £325,000 in water company shares, which could pay out a dividend, and about £30 million in bonds across the sector. This, by the way, is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how dodgy the Church of England and Justin Welby smells at the moment. The How We Invest section on their website states the Church Commissioners manage a £10.3 billion investment fund in an ethical and responsible way. Well, until very recently, the Church was investing with arms dealers and oil and gas giants. They have the audacity to use a picture of the idyllic countryside on their website, whilst they coin it in from these supposedly destructive and harmful industries, including pumping human faeces into the waterways. It might also interest you to know that whilst the Church of England sits on that £10 billion fund, members of the clergy were forced to demand a pay rise in June to cope with the cost of living crisis. Their wages, by the way, largely come from public donations. Oh, and get this. At the Trades Union Congress a few years ago, Justin Welby said 0-hour contracts and companies like Amazon paying little to no tax are the reincarnation of an ancient evil. Well, it turned out 2 Church of England cathedrals were advertising 0 hours contracts, and Amazon was reportedly one of the Church's biggest investments worldwide. Today, the Metropolitan Police announced that they believe that they have found the body of Abdul Azidi, the twice-failed asylum seeker and notorious sex criminal who doused a woman and children with alkaline before jumping into the Thames. He pretended to be Christian to game the asylum system, although not specifically through the C of E. The Church of England has been accused of running a conveyor belt for illegal immigrants to fake asylum claims. These include allegations of mass asylum seeker baptisms and members of the clergy vouching for illegal immigrants, one of whom blew himself up outside a maternity hospital in Liverpool. The Church of England, under Justin Welby, stands accused of coaching clergy to help fake asylum seekers concoct claims that allow them to stay in Britain. These asylum seekers are almost always from Muslim countries, and therefore, by extension, the Church of England finds itself in the bizarre position of being accused of accelerating the Islamification of Britain and being fundamentally dishonest at the same time, claims the Church denies. All of this has taken place under the watchful eye of Archbishop Welby, but perhaps his greatest failure is the dwindling attendance figures at church. As the population of Britain grows by millions of people, the number of people attending church is nosediving. In fact, weekly attendance figures were down by 200,000 people in 2022 to just 654,000. Perhaps Mr Welby will take comfort in the knowledge that attendances at mosques around the country have risen instead. If Archbishop Justin Welby was in charge of a business, he would have been sacked and quite possibly put under investigation. I wonder if it is time that that happened. We approached the Church of England for comment, and they failed to get back to us. Of course, not everyone in the Church of England prescribes to Welby's woke view of the world. Former chaplain of Derbyshire's Trent College, Dr Bernard Randall, appeared at the Employment Appeal Tribunal earlier today after he was sacked for delivering a sermon that questioned gender ideology. Unsurprisingly, he was abandoned by the Church of England. He's even found himself reported to the terrorist watchdog Prevent. I'm very pleased to say that Dr Randall joins me now. Thank you very much. Could you just explain exactly what happened to you, please?
Well, to cut a very long story short, I was the chaplain in a school, and a pupil asked me to preach on how come they were told they had to accept the LGBT stuff in a Christian school. I thought that was a fair question. So I said, ultimately, no, you don't have to accept anybody else's ideas. You make up your own minds. And so on topics like the marriage being between a man and a woman, biological sex being real, gender identity not making perfect sense, therefore can't be entirely true. I said, you may adopt the Church's position on that and respect the people you disagree with, but you make up your own mind. For which, as you say, I was reported to Prevent, the anti-terror watchdog, secular safeguarding authorities, the Teaching Regulation Agency, Disclosure and Barring Service, all of whom eventually cleared me, but I lost my job at the school, and that's why there's legal action ongoing. We had a hearing today, as you say. Unfortunately, they decided they need to put the case off because there's another legal case touching on similar stuff, going to the Court of Appeal in October. So they said, we have to wait for that one. So I need to wait another year before I can even get a date for the hearing to hear my appeal. So by the time it has been heard, there's every possibility that we could be 6 or 7 years after the sermon for me to get justice, which is a difficult time to go through.
It's an incredibly powerful sermon, to be fair. What do you make of Justin Welby in his current role? I've obviously rattled off quite a few things there. I mean, you've had personal experience of feeling quite abandoned. What's your view on his position? Well,
he's doing a very difficult job, in fairness to him. My personal view is perhaps he's not doing the best job of it. I'll be diplomatic about it, shall we say. As regards my own situation, all the secular safeguarding authorities have cleared me entirely, but the Church of England is ongoing with a safeguarding problem. Because I taught Church of England teaching in a Church of England school, they treat me as a safeguarding risk. Justin Welby has done nothing to help me. So if he's watching, and maybe he is, it's not too late to step in and help my situation. But fundamentally, he gave a speech in between me giving my sermon and the story going public a few years ago. He gave a speech talking about religious freedom and how important it is and vital in a modern society. And yet when it came to my story being told, because in a sense I'm on the wrong side of things as far as he's concerned, I guess, not a word of support, not a whisper from anyone in the Church of England's hierarchy for someone simply saying, you may accept the Church of England's own teaching. And I can't quite see how he can square that in his own head. But he would have to answer to that himself, I guess.
I mean, the irony is that, though this is obviously through no fault of your own, the Church of England has recently baptised people who have gone on to not just be referred to Prevent, but actually commit acts of terrorism. Meanwhile, you were referred to Prevent for essentially teaching, Christian teaching. Look, thank you very, very much. I know that was short and sweet, but I do hope to get you back on, and I hope that you feel heard for what you've said there. That is, of course, Dr. Bernard Randall. Now, a Trent College spokesperson has previously said Trent College is an inclusive community where we are proud of our commitment to support the well-being of everyone. We want every single pupil to be safe and feel understood here. Well, there we go.